Hi, Mike. Thank you for coming to this program to share your story with us. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I really look forward to it.
Indeed. So maybe you could just start off by just telling us a bit of an overview about your company because we talked to Red Pine last year, but a lot has happened since, including yourself being the new CEO as well.
Certainly. Well, Red Pine has a main project in northwestern Ontario in central Canada. It's a property that has a resource, and what we've discovered with the resource over the past year is that there's an open pit option and there's an underground option. And for us, taking that forward is really advantageous as there's many mills in the area. So we have an opportunity possibly to partner with someone that has an open pit mill where we could process our open pit material. And we also have a large underground resource that we can grow bigger. So if we wanted the option of just going in underground or a combination of an open pit or underground, that's something that the property has to offer. But I think most important is that we've been able to recognize the exploration potential on the property. And really this year, which we're fully funded to do, is to complete exploration that will, produce ongoing news flow, but show really what the best route for us is to take going forward. So will we have an open pit? Will we have an underground? This drilling program will help us better establish that. And then that helps us to advance the project in a certain path forward.
Great. Maybe you can elaborate a bit on the increase. I believe you've increased your mineral resource, a bit more details like the numbers and why this actually attracted you to join the company.
Yeah, I mean, the resources went up 150%, which is really staggering number, and it's over 1 million ounces that we've added. So we're somewhere in the range now of a combined indicated and inferred resource of about 1 million ounces, which is a really great project to start with, particularly when you're given that has so much more potential. And in fact, before I joined as CEO at Red Pine, I was previously the senior vice president at Wesdome, which owns and operates the Eagle River mine about 90 kilometers away from this project. And I looked at this project several times in the past as a potential acquisition for Wesdome. Because I've always liked this project. I think it has great exploration potential. And I think previously, the story was maybe a bit complicated. And I think it's really a simple story. There's a great resource, has open pit, underground potential. It just needs more drilling to see exactly how big this project could really add a lot of value. This is at a stage of the project before development that you could add a lot of value. And then at that stage, we can decide what are the next steps for the company.
So let's talk a bit more on some of the recent drilling you've done, because you've done some increased drilling in Jubilee shear zones. Can you tell us more about what you've discovered and then what sort of planning you have after that?
Yeah, certainly. Well, the resource drilling that was done to update the resource really showed that we have a robust open pit resource. And also a couple of deep holes that we drilled, because it's only been drilled down to a depth of 300 meters, except for a couple of deep holes that we drilled around the 700-meter mark. And just for reference, the nearby mines, Alamos operates the Island Gold mine just down the road, so it's 70 kilometers away. They're down 1.5 kilometers. The Eagle mine that Wesdome operates is also down around 1.5 kilometers. So we're really close to the surface. It's never really been explored at depth. So the couple of deep holes that were drilled down to 700 meters shows that the zone, extends down into that area. The other interesting thing is because we have this open pit resource up to the north, we released some prospecting results a couple of months ago from the surface work that we did. It shows that there's mineralization right at surface further to the north of where our current optimized pit is. So there's room for expansion there. So I think with so much expansion, what we really want to do is go into this to the deposit, test some of these areas, really be bold, large step outs. We're not doing infill drilling. We know where our resource is, but we really want to add a lot of value quickly. Because the share price is what we consider to be relatively low compared to our peers, and because of some I guess the way the company was run previously really hurt the share price. But the project's always been good. And I think everybody recognizes that. And I think with this drilling program, will really show the upside potential of this project. And that'll start to bring the value back into this project. And, once we have a full value, it helps us a lot for, further work, future financings or potential other opportunities with some of the partners in the area.
I also know that you recently completed a upsized financing for $11 million. I know it's always not easy to raise capital in the junior market. And what does it mean for you for this? How significant this in terms of moving forward with your project?
Yeah, I think what was important is, we initially went out for a certain amount to complete the 25,000 meter drill program that we have. We had that money. In fact, that amount was about $7 million we were looking for. We were offered 17 million in the first 3 hours. And we didn't want to take the full 17 million because we're obviously conscious of the amount of dilution that we would have to take. So we took $11 million. And the reason that we took $11 million, it does provide us the money to do the current program plus some, which helps lower our exploration risk. So with that amount of money, the chances of success are even better than at 7 million. But it allowed us to put the money into hands that we knew were big shareholders. So we did bring in some new institutions. We really had very few institutions, mostly retail. So we were able to bring in Gold 2000. We brought in Mackenzie. Merck has, went pro rata for their previous investments. So we brought in the Royal Bank. So you can see that we're bringing some confidence in the company and some confidence in the project. Alamos, who's our 13.5% shareholder, they went pro rata on their investment. And Franco-Nevada, who they bought a royalty from us last year. So all of these large groups have looked at the property. They believe in the property and the company and the confidence in management to do this work. And we were able to raise that money. But you can see that a lot of people have more confidence in the work that we're doing here and in the future of this company. And now that those shares are in that hand, they'll be well held because these are long-term shareholders. And as we start to get more good results and people start to believe, that's going to help for the share price appreciation, and that's really what we're trying to do in the short term.
You just mentioned earlier about Alamos Gold as probably one of your major strategic partner there. Can you tell us more about the details of how they come into the company, and because they own the Island Gold mine not too far away from you, it's sort of the synergy between you two.
Right. So, and they've operated, they bought a number of years ago the Island Gold mine, which is a very successful underground mine a few years ago, and it's one of the best projects in their portfolio, I would argue, and so they started to look around for other projects. They invested in Red Pine. They liked the open pit potential, which wasn't really known before, but they like that potential. Other companies have looked at it more for the underground potential because you can mine a higher grade and maybe truck it a little further to other mills. But what's really, I think, maybe a bit of a game changer for Alamos is that they recently just purchased the Argonaut mill at the Magino mine site, which is only 70 kilometers away from the Red Pine property. The reason that's important is because it was built for the open pit mine at Magino. So it's a large mill. It's 10,000 tons per day, with opportunity to expand it. So that's a hungry mill, and they'll be looking for feed. And the fact that we're down the road from them means there could be opportunities for us in the future for custom milling, maybe a partnership of some kind, outright sale of, ore to that mill. So there's lots of opportunities, I think, from our side. So we were quite happy to see that they purchased that, and they have such a great interest in us because I think they're pro rata investment in us shows that they're still interested and shows the confidence in the property and the Red Pine management.
Great. In summary, so let's talk about a bit of a share price. Do you think your company is undervalued because you've done the financing, $11 million? Obviously, you don't want to dilute your stock, so you may think that there's some great potential here. So tell us more. Why should investors consider following your company right now?
Yeah, the reason that we believe we're undervalued is when you look at because we had such a large increase in the mineral resource and the number of ounces, the dollar value, a market cap in the each ounce that we have in the resource is very low compared to our peers. So that's where we're trading low. And the reason that happened was because of some challenges that the company went through at the beginning of the year, where it lost over 50% of their share price and their market cap. And it hasn't recovered since that. Since that time, we've added this 150% of resources. We have financed, we've put money in the bank to do the program, and now it's just the share price is you can start to see it's starting to increase. When several months ago it was down at 7 cents, now it's around 13 to 14 cents. But really, before the problem they had was at 20 cents. So, I believe getting back up to that, starts to, maybe fairly valued maybe the ounces that we have, but there's no value there for what we see as the exploration potential, which everybody can see. And, because it's just right around the known resource that we have, which is open in these directions. And also for the proximity to other projects. And that's really important because if you have a project that's close to other infrastructure, it means it gives us more optionality, more opportunities going forward. And, with given all that, with the money in the bank and a good drill program that's exciting, it's bold, it's large step outs. Like I said, we're not doing infill drilling. I think it'll really show the value fast. So there's a good opportunity to really push the share price up. And we do have coverage. Haywood provides coverage for us. We expect that Research Capital will be initiating coverage shortly as well. So there's a lot of positive things on the go, and really the base of it is the project that is so good and can grow fast, and I think people recognize that value.
Great to hear. So it looks like you have some exciting plans for Red Pine in the coming year or near future. So investors should really start following your company. Thank you for sharing with us your update today here.
Great. Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Mike.